Welcome back to our deep dive into Ethereum economics. In our first video, we covered the foundational concepts. Today, we're exploring how Ethereum is building a parallel financial system that could reshape the global economy. If you haven't watched part 1, I'll link it in the description, but let's jump right into the revolutionary aspects of digital money. Central banks, traditional vs. Digital. The traditional system, the US Federal Reserve controls monetary policy for the dollar, managing money supply, setting interest rates to stimulate GDP growth, maintain employment, and control inflation. The centralized approach has dominated global finance for decades. Ethereum's central bank, MakerDAO, has its own central bank called MakerDAO. It's an independent protocol built on top of Ethereum open source code that anyone can interact with. The great equalizer. Maker's rules are identical for everyone. The protocol doesn't care about your background, connections, or location. A person from the Arctic Circle interacts with Maker exactly the same way as someone from Hollywood Hills or the Sahara Desert. This is perhaps the greatest equalizer since Samuel Colt's revolver technology that democratizes power. Maker communicates directly with the Ethereum blockchain, making it the most fundamental decentralized organization in this new economy. If Ethereum is the computer hardware, Maker is the operating system that lets users give basic commands and build applications. Money printing for everyone. The bar function's most fascinating command you can give through Maker is to print money. Yes, the technology of central banks is now available to everyone, and they've even removed the critical bug of infinite printing. How it works. 1. Deposit $150 worth of ETH into Maker's vault. 2. Maker prints 100 DAI tokens for you. 3. DAI is a stablecoin, 1 DAI $14. Each DAI is backed by $1.5 worth of collateral. This means DAI is 150% backed by ETH, compared to the US dollar, which was 40% backed by gold until 1944, and 0% backed since 1971. Why stablecoins matter. Ethereum's economy needs stable value tokens to solve ETH's volatility problem. Maker transforms volatile ETH into stable DAI, making it much easier to price goods and services. You can't just eliminate volatility, but through smart engineering, you can redirect it elsewhere. The cost of stability. When you print DAI, you're taking a loan from the Maker protocol. Interest rates automatically adjust from 0.05% to 20% annually, depending on the collateral asset's price movements. The advantage of trustless money. DAI vs. traditional stablecoins. DAI's key advantage over dollar-backed stablecoins and fiat currencies is the elimination of trust in human issuers. People with money printing authority eventually corrupt the system because they can't resist the temptation of feeling like King Midas. The only way to create honest, independent money is to remove humans from the creation process entirely. On Ethereum, impartial code handles this through smart contracts. This is the only solution because historically, humans always corrupt money, turning it into fiat currency. The vision. In crypto enthusiasts' dreams, Ethereum will replace the Federal Reserve with tiny smart contracts. As Buckminster Fuller said, "You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete." Monetary policy comparison. Bitcoin vs. Ethereum vs. traditional systems. Unlike traditional economies, Bitcoin and Ethereum don't need to worry about unemployment, consumer spending, or GDP growth. BTC and ETH issuance doesn't depend on factors like dollar printing speed or other fiat currency policies. Single purpose. The only function of crypto money issuance is to secure the network, preventing compromise of stored value, illegal ownership changes, or double spending. Like countries protecting borders from invasion, crypto economies protect stored value from potential attacks. Economic incentives. Unlike soldiers who serve from patriotism or legal obligation, Bitcoin and Ethereum are purely economic systems. Financial motivation is key. Network integrity is maintained by mercenaries, miners, and private military organizations. Defense budgets of digital economies. Understanding security costs. Independent digital economies' defense budgets come from two sources. 1. Transaction fees like taxes. 2. Block rewards. New coin issuance. Currently, over 90% comes from block rewards. Instead of saying, Bitcoin's hash rate is 138 exahash per second, meaningless to most people, it's clearer to say, Bitcoin's defense budget is $250 million per week. Current numbers: Bitcoin, $250 million weekly defense budget. Ethereum, $85 million weekly, as of May 2020. The halving effect. Bitcoin's May 11th halving cut the defense budget in half in BTC terms. By 2032, block rewards will drop to 0.78 BTC. The expectation is that limited supply plus growing demand will push prices higher, with each halving, maintaining or increasing the dollar-denominated defense budget. Ethereum's different approach. Minimum necessary issuance. Bitcoin maximalists often criticize Ethereum for not having a hard cap on total coins, comparing it to the dollar's infinite printing. But Ethereum uses a different approach called minimum necessary issuance. This principle maintains ETH creation at the minimum level needed to pay private security organizations, validators, adequate financial incentives. The hard cap problem. Fixed supply limits the defense budget over time. Eventually, Bitcoin will rely solely on user activity and transaction fees to reward miners. Ethereum, however, will never run out of money for ammunition. Balance is key. If a protocol subsidizes its protection through block rewards, those rewards should be minimally sufficient to motivate defenders. You can't just 5x rewards. This would devalue the base asset and ultimately reduce the defense budget and security. The Ethereum 2.0 revolution from miners to validators. Bitcoin's main event is the halving. Ethereum's is the transition to proof-of-stake. Ethereum 2.0. This is a carefully planned revolution where the working-class miners with their ASICs and farms steps aside as Ethereum's economy no longer needs their services. Enter the capitalists. Validators with thick ETH wallets will now verify transaction legitimacy. These new network defenders don't need mining equipment. They solve problems with money, but not how you might think. How it works. Validators lock their ETH in the protocol and monitor that all Ethereum economy participants follow rules and don't try to cheat the system. To become a solo validator requires minimum 32 ETH, though services like ETH2 staking pools allow smaller holders to participate. Economic incentives. Validators who successfully protect the network get rewarded from the defense budget. If a validator tries to cheat or collude, other validators detect this and the cheater loses their staked ETH. This is the beauty of a truly capitalist proof-of-stake algorithm. When your money is on the line, you're incentivized to behave properly and watch others closely. Economic implications of staking. Reduced inflation and market pressure. Since validators don't need to pay electricity costs, Ethereum can significantly reduce defense spending after transitioning to proof-of-stake. Annual inflation could drop from the current 4.5%. The exact figure depends on how much ETH validators lock up. Government bond analogy. Locking ETH for transaction validation is like buying government bonds. You lend money to the protocol and earn interest. But unlike governments that spend your money on bureaucrat salaries and foreign wars, the protocol simply removes your capital from circulation while it works in security services. Locked ETH and earned interest can't be sold until you stop participating in consensus, reducing sell pressure on ETH price. Unlike miners who often immediately sell mined coins to cover expenses, this won't happen after the POS transition. Potential returns. Expected locked ETH. 10-30 million tokens. New ETH issuance will be algorithmically adjusted based on staking participation demand. It's possible ETH will have lower inflation than Bitcoin. Adding transaction fees to block rewards, large investors might earn 3-4 annual returns in ETH, an excellent deal considering that early 2020 saw about $12 trillion in bonds with negative yields. The bigger economic picture. Traditional finance Cresare Dalio calls holding zero or negative yield bonds insanity. Many governments are issuing massive new debt to compensate for falling consumption. The US is borrowing trillions to patch financial holes, but the economy won't return to normal in 2-3 months. No amount of monetary emission will make people immediately less afraid to travel, visit restaurants, or attend concerts. Central banks manipulate monetary policy to resolve emotional crises. At the pandemic's start, many people were nearly as afraid as during World War I. The Ethereum alternative hill not claiming bond market capital will immediately flow into ETH staking. It really so fantastical that Ethereum could offer positive returns on invested capital? Common sense suggests any positive yield beats negative returns. As Thomas Paine said, time makes more converts than reason. Large ETH holders will likely start locking and becoming validators after the staking transition. Market dynamics and future scenarios. The validator economics cycle initially. Locked ETH amounts will be modest due to early-stage technical risks, meaning higher validator rewards to compensate. High rewards attract new validators, locking more ETH, leading to falling rewards and rising system security. Reduced circulating ETH supply combined with miners no longer immediately selling mined coins could create ETH supply shortage, driving price increases. When prices rise rapidly, it attracts private investors with acute FOMO, pushing prices even higher. This is a very probable scenario for our upcoming second video continuation. Value and utility relationship. Market cap equals utility. The crypto community often says we're here for technology, not profit. Very noble, but we live in a world where asset value is expressed through price. An Ethereum with $10 trillion market cap will be more useful and effective during economic crisis than today's $27 billion Ethereum. Higher ETH value means it can absorb more value from traditional financial systems if they malfunction. Ethereum could become a lifeboat if the Titanic of the global economy starts sinking. The development ecosystem. It's impossible to cover everything happening in Ethereum's economy in one video. It's a true anthill with 24/7 activity. Every hour of work by every person developing Ethereum projects makes all ETH slightly more valuable. These human hours accumulate like a snowball. Watching this bankless financial system develop is fascinating and exciting. Look at these two images to understand what stage we're at. Early Yahoo search interface from 1994 vs. Maker in 2018. Designers cry looking at this, but it's normal for early stages. Conclusion: the historic opportunity are early. If you're watching this video, you're in the front rows observing the birth of a new economic system operating without banks. This could be a lifetime adventure. Aging millennials will proudly tell their grandchildren they were insightful enough to buy crypto money ETH and BTC back in 2020. Over time, these will become normal and mundane simply because common sense wins long term. But before the whole world believed, when it all looked like a dubious venture, you were already here. The network effect. Decentralized system strength lies in people. The more users, the more valuable these systems become. Please share this video with friends to introduce them to this emerging economic system and elevate them to a new level. What's next? Today we touched only the most fundamental Ethereum principles. We'll definitely continue exploring this rabbit hole. Hit like if you want the next Ethereum part released quickly. Your likes and comments help this video reach more people. If Ethereum's decentralized economy interests you and you want to dive deeper right now, I highly recommend checking out Bankless by Ryan Sean Adams, link in description. He shares many unconventional ideas about Ethereum and decentralized financial systems. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. Thank you for watching to the end. This is truly valuable. This video probably wasn't easy to watch, but now you know what 90% of Earth's population and 99% of traditional financiers simply ignore. By studying the possible future of financial worlds, you gain enormous advantage over crowds who don't know what to do after work. However, decentralized systems' power lies in people. The more users, the more valuable these systems become. Remember to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for more deep dives into the future of finance.